You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
That'll be script reads me.
Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But
We are concerned about trouble and irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
False news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these stories that aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 We trade actors, motherfucker.
Hey, good day to you all. Welcome to the new. Good afternoon, actually. Not my time. Good afternoon. Welcome to the new. I'm your host, Randy&April. So, I did not. This is a late show. I did not go live earlier today as I normally schedule them to do because I actually had to go and take care of some things that popped up at the last minute, and I knew it was gonna run into the time that I normally do the show. So I promised everyone that I would do it later on, and here I am. So, but I want to say, give a happy belated birthday shout out to my brother. Which one is it? I'm horrible. Sylvester. No, I mean, sorry, Howard. And today is my sister's birthday, Nina. She's 34. I was like, man, we're getting old, man. Wow. But anyways, I hope they're all having a grand time. I see them on Facebook celebrating, so I know they're having a good time. But all in all, it's been a slow weekend for me. It's just worn out. Just like I was just like, bleh. So I kind of like just took it easy this weekend. I did do a radio, a Facebook Zoom interview for my campaign on Saturday, and I want to give a shout out to Julian Boykin for hooking me up with that. I appreciate the reach out and give me the airspace and opportunity to do that on your show. I appreciate that. And other than that, my thoughts and prayers go out to both the British community and the hip hop community on the passing of DMX and Prince Philip, respectively, over the weekend as well. DMX somebody I actually listened to and was a big fan of his music throughout the 90s and early 2000s. And it was it's hard to say that I'm shocked that, you know, he passed away from drug overdose, because he had close run-ins in the past with drugs. And so I can't say that I'm shocked. It's just more like, man, you thought you would have got it the first time around, but you'll learn. But, you know, it is what it is. And Prince Philip, you know, there's a lot of reference towards that man. He lived a remarkable life, you know, military service, royalty, and everything else. And some of my British colleagues, I reached out to them and, you know, expressed my condolences on Facebook, you know, for their loss of a leader of their country. Other than that, an update. I can say an update, but I guess you could say an update to the Virginia police officer pulling over the black army officer over the weekend or last week, whatever day it was. The police officer has been fired. So those in Virginia and across the country, you calm down. Don't burn and destroy anything, because number one, the soldier, the officer is alive. He's actually placed a lawsuit against the police officer, but the police officer has been fired. That just broke here a few minutes ago before I came on. And also the Derek Chauvin case is still going on. I have not touched, and I will not touch anything with the Derek Chauvin trial, because we all know what the outcome is going to be. Well, I think that what the outcome is going to be. I'm not even going to say it yet. I would just say that we pretty much know how this is going to play out. Anytime that there's a trial, a televised trial going on for weeks, it seemed like OJ, 94. There you go. You're welcome. So, but anywho, there was something else I wanted to. In Minnesota, I want to say it was in Minneapolis. I didn't get into the story too much on this either, because it just happened overnight. But a young African American male was accidentally shot by police. When I say accidentally, and I did the quotations because the cop said that they meant to pull their taser. Now, if you don't know the difference between your taser and your gun, you do not need to be in that line of profession, period. But they shot and killed this young man, and the natural response was to riot and destroy the city. And that's what transpired between last night and today. And that's what caught my attention on that was when it said that the Minnesota governor deployed the National Guard due to riots from a black male being shot and killed. And I was like, oh, here we go. So, I mean, folks, one thing we have to consider, and I get it. We're tired of seeing the media. We're tired of hearing stories. They don't necessarily have to be the media. We're tired of hearing stories of black people, because it's women too, black people being shot and killed by police. We're tired of hearing that story, and I get it. I'm tired of it as well. However, in the art of prudence and pragmatism, we have to step back, let things play out, let the system work. And at the end of that process, if things are not the way that we're expecting them to be, then I can understand. But when as soon as it happens, we're ready to torch stuff, and it's like, calm down with that. You know, resorting to rioting, violence, and destruction is not the answer, especially when something has just happened. You give it time to play out. As we saw, as I'm hearing, this person had warrants. He fled the police and got into a scuffle with them and everything else. And was shot. You can't get mad at the outcome of that. I'm sorry, you just can't. You know, we need to understand that running from the police, putting them on high-speed chases, as black people, typically do not end well with us. We should have cognitively gotten that down by now. So we need to stop doing it. Be like the black officer in the military. Hands up, out the window, conversation. Live to see another day to fight that battle later. That's the actions that we need to take, ladies and gentlemen. If you got a warrant out for your arrest, you get caught, hey, go down in flames. Just go ahead and take that L. But live to see another day. Fight that in the system. You might get your warrant cleared up for being cooperative. You never know. Versus being put in the ground because you wanted to act a jackass because you had a warrant. So I'm not going to sit here and preach. Not right now, anyways, because I got a lot to cover. Well, not a lot, but a lot. But anyways, we're going to jump to commercial break. We're right back. Stay tuned. Keep it locked right here.
You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com. You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
We got a long way to go. It seems like we always have a long way to go. But also today we're taking steps to confront not just the gun crisis, but what is actually a public health crisis. Nothing I'm about to recommend in any way impinges on the Second Amendment. They're phony arguments suggesting that these are Second Amendment rights at stake from what we're talking about. But no amendment to the Constitution is absolute. You can't yell fire in a crowded movie theater. We call it freedom of speech. From the very beginning, you couldn't own any weapon you wanted to own. From the very beginning the Second Amendment existed, certain people weren't allowed to have weapons. So the idea is just bizarre to suggest that some of the things we're recommending are contrary to the Constitution. Gun violence in this country is an epidemic. Let me say it again. Gun violence in this country is an epidemic, and it's an international embarrassment. Our flag was still flying at half-staff for the victims of the horrific murder of 8 primarily Asian American people in Georgia, when 10 more lives were taken in a mass murder in Colorado. You probably didn't hear it, but between those two incidents, less than 1 week apart, there were more than 850 additional shootings. 850 that took the lives of more than 250 people and left 500 injured. This is an epidemic, for God's sake, and it has to stop.
Hey, welcome back. So, oh, Joey. Let me pull myself together here, folks. Because the president is failing to understand something. And I wish I had the ability to have just a one-on-one, uninterrupted conversation with them for maybe 20 minutes. and to explain that you don't have the authority to override the Constitution. I'm sorry, you just I didn't write it. You just don't. But outside of that, you don't have. You're not. You're being disingenuous when. I apologize. I don't know why people are pinging me right now. You're being disingenuous when you're talking about, gun violence being an epidemic and everything else. Folks, car crashes, car accidents kill more people on a daily basis than gun violence. And like I said last week, and I talked about this last week, that the media is focusing more and more on gun violence issues across America than pretty much on anything else. I have a news app that I get feeds from different places that I can select and what have you. And just in this area alone, there has been so many killings and injuries behind stabbings and using a car to run people over. Folks, the president talking about the flag being flown at half-mast because of the victims. Normally, flying a flag at half-mast is reserved for typically dignitaries, military, stuff like that. Not so much the everyday citizens. It's just not. So this ploy of highlighting all of these different gun issues, it's such a blatant attack on the Second Amendment that I'm just like, I'm so tired of it. I'm tired of it, and that's why I made a Facebook post and I said I will be in full support of elected officials having to take a test, or having to read the Constitution and take a test on it before they're sworn into office. Yeah, I get it, folks. I get it. Randy, that's running the kid into the literacy test. That's against the 14th Amendment. Tracking. I ain't say to vote. But if you're going to take an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, then you sitting there trying to create laws to contradict or to undermine the Constitution which you were sworn to uphold and defend does not sound to me like you're upholding your oath of office. And this goes for both Republicans and Democrats. Any elected official. Period. The Second Amendment is very clear. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And I had a back and forth discussion yesterday with somebody else about, so what you're saying is people with mental issues and everything else, they shouldn't have guns. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. We're not stopping them from driving a car. Just because you don't give them a license, just because they fail a driver's test or whatever, doesn't stop them from going to borrow a friend's car or carjacking, like what's on the rise right now in D.C. there, Mr. President, and members of Congress. So, no, I don't think there should be an imposition on the people's rights to get firearms. Now I got it. We can impose restrictions on, hey, if you got a felony or if you got mental issues, whatever, you don't need to have a firearm. You can't get it. You have to go through a medical test, get a waiver. So I got that. But however, it's still not going to stop them from acquisition of something, a weapon of any type. There's this thing called IEDs, VBIDs. People can make weapons. It doesn't have to be a gun if they want to commit, murder or commit a crime. It doesn't necessarily have to be a gun. It just makes things a little easier, in a sense. It gives a little shock value at the end of the day. That's it. But folks, I am utterly serious about this, because also the president also does not have the authority to usurp constitutional laws, because guess what? That is the job of Congress. Now, just because you don't have a clear majority in the House or the Senate to be able to create legislation to dictate to the American people what their rights can and cannot be, does not mean that you have the executive authority to do so. We have a process, we have a system in place for that, and that is called the Article 5 of the Constitution. And I will read that to you to explain to you from the Constitution what Article 5 states, ladies and gentlemen. The Congress, whenever 2/3 of both houses shall deem it necessary, shall propose amendments to the Constitution, or on the application of the legislatures of 2/3 of the several states, shall call a convention for purposing amendments, which, in either case, shall be valid to all intents and purposes. As part of this Constitution, when ratified by the legislatures of 3/4 of the several states, or by conventions in 3/4 thereof, as the one or the other mode of ratification may be proposed by the Congress, provided that no amendment which may be made prior to the year, pay attention, ladies and gentlemen, 1808 shall in any manner affect the first and the fourth clauses in the 9th section of the first article, and that no state without its consent shall be deprived of its equal suffrage in the Senate. Randy, what does that mean? What? It means, folks, that in order to make a constitutional change to any amendment outside of the ones created prior to 1808, guess what those are? Guess what, folks? I'm gonna be like those cartoons that be like, guess what? What's your favorite color? Yes, that's mine too. The Bill of Rights clearly states in Article 5, any amendment can be amended, except, don't you touch these Bill of Rights. Anything made before 1808, leave it alone. The Bill of Rights, ladies and gentlemen. And also the second part to that is it gives you, Article 5 gives you two modes, two methods, two mechanisms in which constitutional amendments can be ratified or changed, ratified. And that is also a convention of the states, which is a concerted effort that is currently going on right now for a couple of different things. But a convention of the states means that so many states, 3/4, has to say, hey, we want to convene and put together a proposal to change this amendment, i.e. the term limits, to set Article 1 of the Constitution, to impose a constitutional amendment to Article 1 on term limits for the Congress. That's a constitutional convention of the states in that regard. Now you can have a convention of the states say, hey, you know what, this whole the president's term limits, the 22nd Amendment, we need to get rid of that or change it up. You have to have a separate convention of the states for that purpose. You can't just have a convention of the states and say, oh, okay, what's on the agenda today? Which amendments do we want to change? No, that's not the way that works. It's clearly laid out in Article 5, ladies and gentlemen. Congress, whenever 2/3 of both houses shall deem it necessary, not the president, whenever he deems it necessary. It doesn't say that. So creating executive orders and executive actions to usurp what is written in the Constitution is by itself and within its own definition unconstitutional. You can't do that. But people are sitting back and they're being quiet and they're letting it ride and everything else. Wrong answer. I'm here to tell you, Mr. President, your battle buddies are setting you up for failure. They're giving you the Blue Falcon right now. And folks, the other The other thing that the president putting together this commission to set term limits on the Supreme Court, setting the term limits for the Supreme Court to 18 years. Folks, once again, that requires a convention of the states. Now, I'm not talking about packing the courts. I'm not talking about adding seats to the Supreme Court. That's actually a different subject. That's a different issue. But to change, remember what I said, 1808, but to change Article 3, let's see here, where it talks about being appointed for life. Okay, Article 3, Section 1. The judicial power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court and in such inferior courts as the Congress may from time to time ordain and establish. The judges both of the Supreme and inferior courts shall hold their offices during good behavior and shall at stated times receive for their services a compensation which shall not be diminished during continuance in office. Actually goes into Section 2. The judicial power shall stand to all cases in law and equity arising under this Constitution, the laws of the United States, and treaties made or which shall be made under their authority to all cases affecting ambassadors, other public ministers, and consuls, to all cases of admiralty and maritime jurisdiction. Goes on and on and on and on. I'm not going to read everything for you because you can just go pick it up and read it yourself. We get down to okay, a life of the person. Okay, there we go. During the life of the person attained. So, folks, I mean, it's right here in the Constitution. It's right here in the Constitution. And then, Article 2. Article 2 also reiterates this as well. Article 2 talks about the presidency, establishing the office of the presidency. So, I mean, just matter of fact, in the oath, this is, I mean, folks, like, wow. Before he enter on the execution of his office, he shall take the following oath or affirmation. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States and will, to the best of my ability, to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. This is the oath of the President. Now, I wish people would just take the time to actually just read the Constitution to its entirety. It's a lot. Don't get me wrong. It is a lot. I'm not asking you to memorize it. I'm not asking you to. But read it through. Read it a couple of times. And some things will stick to you. And you will see and understand that there's clearly defined parameters in which we are to operate. Damn. And this would, if people actually read and understood the Constitution, I would say probably about 80%. I would give about 80% of our problems, our social problems, would not exist. We wouldn't have a conversation about gun control because we will all have that collective understanding that the Constitution is pretty clear. It's pretty clear here, and let me jump to the amendments. The first 10 amendments of Bill of Rights were ratified effective December 15, 1791. Remember what I said in Article 5. It says you do not touch anything made before 1808. But anyways, Amendment 2. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, meaning that each state should have a militia. That is what we now know as the National Guard, to the security of that state. So if something happens in that state, they have the National Guard to respond to the security of that free state. That's what that means. And then it goes into saying that the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Meaning that, yeah, the state has a militia to protect the state, but the people that's in that state, you have the right to bear arms, and that should not be imposed on. Cut and dry. I'm not interpreting the Constitution. I'm not interpreting the Second Amendment. It's pretty freaking clear what it says. Shall not be infringed. Shall not. Not maybe in this case, but we can. It doesn't say all that. It's cut and dry, ladies and gentlemen. It's cut and dry. It's frustrating. I tell you, it really boils my blood. Like, seriously, I'm not just saying that to just try to waste time or anything else. It really irritates me that we are living in a time, 2021, that people fail to read. Just like the whole debacle with Georgia and the voting laws. I got into so many debates last week about that, and I just asked some questions. Did you even read it? No. I'm just going. I got my news source and stop talking to me. Don't talk about the Constitution if you haven't read it. That's going to be my next post, actually. Don't talk about the Constitution if you haven't read it. Don't mention anything about anything if you have not primary sourced it yourself. Not the news, not a Facebook post, not a Twitter post, not this and that and the third. If you did not primary source it for yourself, don't talk about it. Don't debate about it. Don't give me your feelings about it. Because your feelings are not facts. It is a perspective grounded on emotion. Now, if you have read it and you say, in my opinion, I'm willing to listen. Because at least you're giving me something based on the facts. Because you actually read it. Now, what you extrapolate an interpretation of something different than something we can debate and discuss. But if you haven't even read it, I'm not even going to entertain it. I'm just like, no, stop. Well, folks, we'll be right back. We're going to jump to a quick commercial break. Stay tuned.
You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
Have you heard about Thrive? It's a question asked 1,000 times a day. The Thrive 8-Week Experience has become the fastest growing health and wellness movement in North America. Over 10 million people have started the experience, and anywhere from 10 to 50,000 experience orders ship out every day. Why is this 6-letter word, THRIVE, turned into a phenomenon? Because it's simple. 1. Take 2 Thrive Premium Lifestyle Capsules on an empty stomach as soon as your feet hit the floor in the morning. 2. 20 minutes later, drink the Thrive Ultra Micronized Lifestyle Mix. 3. Apply patent-pending DFT Dermafusion technology to clean, dry skin. That's it. You're all done. And now you're set to thrive for the day. Because it's innovative. We all have nutritional gaps. No matter how well we eat or live, we simply can't get the body everything it needs from a nutritional standpoint. That's why Thrive was formulated. To supplement your diet and lifestyle. Once you complete your simple Thrive 3 steps in the morning, you've now introduced 3 different Thrive formulas that synergistically work as one. Feeding your body over 100 premium-grade vitamins, minerals, plant extracts, digestive enzymes, probiotics, antioxidants, protein, fiber, and more. The premium-grade nutrition helps fill in your body's nutritional gaps because it flat out works. Check out what just a few Thrivers are saying about their Thrive experience.
I couldn't believe how great that I was feeling from it.
I noticed a huge difference. A huge difference. I didn't even think I needed it.
I'm down 73 pounds. I'm at my high school graduation weight.
I was more patient with my kids, sleeping better, really loving life again. I felt like I was in my 20s, early 20s again.
Because I've tried other products in the past, but it was like remembering to take this in the morning, take this in the afternoon, take this before bed. So the simplicity of those 3 steps felt like I was living my best life.
It really just
rocked my world. It was energized, but it was joy.
From then on, it's just changed my life, and every day has been better.
It's like somebody installed new lights. Everything was brighter, clearer.
It's laughing and smiling and being present and not being so exhausted.
Thrive is where it's at.
Now that you've heard about Thrive, the next question is, are you ready to start the experience? Learn more at Lavelle.com and Facebook.com/LavelleBrands. Find out how to get your Thrive Experience products for free by referring 2 friends to do the experience with you. Find out how to not only earn free products, but earn commissions as well for sharing the Thrive Experience with others as a Lavelle brand promoter. The decision to take the Thrive Experience or share the experience with others is all up to you. Just start your Thrive Experience today.
Mr. President, what do you think about the possibility that baseball decides to move their All-Star game out of Atlanta because of this political issue?
I would strongly support them doing that.
The left-leaning Washington Post gave Biden 4 Pinocchios for his characterization of the law.
They call the loss of the All-Star game crushing.
We're trying to build back from a pandemic that happened last year.
Business owners are calling this boycott simply crushing.
We have a lot of people who will be impacted by this. And something like this is not good for business. Rodney's will suffer.
I mean, a lot of these are minority-owned businesses that were really looking forward and desperately needed this kind of revenue in stream.
And these certainly would have been uplifted should they have chosen to stay here. And recognizing that we're in a pandemic, this would have given us a lift out of that.
African Americans represent nearly 50% of Atlanta's population. Some minority business owners say moving the All-Star game from Atlanta to Denver is not good for their business and will cost them revenue.
Cobb County's estimate is right around $100 million.
There is undoubtedly going to be a cost. I think that was the point.
I would strongly support them doing that.
You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
I'm sure you would, Joey. I'm sure you would. Folks, I can't stress enough how my heart breaks for Atlanta. And this whole debacle, all based on a lie. And just matter of fact, when I shared that very commercial on my page, I think yesterday. Nobody touched it. Not surprised. But somebody did today, and they said that the MLB is a private business and they can move their stuff wherever they want. And I said, yes, I expect it to come from you, because it was a white liberal organization that saw that they were going to put money into a black liberal community, and they took that away and moved it to a white liberal community. As a white liberal, I would expect you support that. Sure. Anyway, so the border Czar, Roberta Jacobson, has put in her resignation notice to step down from the post as the southern border czar for President Biden in the Biden administration with asterisks. Because look at what's going on at the border. It's a complete chaos. It's a complete disaster. And this person, Miss Jacobson, which I never heard of her prior to this story breaking. I didn't even know that we had a border czar. I thought that was like the job of the Department of Homeland Security. I'm just saying, to take care of this kind of stuff. I don't know. What do I know? But anyway, Miss Jacobson is a former Mexico ambassador under the Obama administration. And this whole fallout is, I guess she's just like, you know what, this is too much of a mess. The policies that Trump had in place, this is coming from border officials. the policy that Trump had in place was working. You stopped the construction on the wall. You are just letting folks free flow in. Matter of fact, today, just a few minutes ago, a notification popped up that one of the Border Patrol agents now has COVID. So you got all this madness going on. And then let's talk about this $4 billion payment to the Northern Triangle. And the Northern Triangle is El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras. You're talking about sending payments directly to these people, to these countries to support migration efforts. And then Jen Psaki, the White House press secretary, is talking about, well, we're as a government, we're not giving the money directly. No, you're going to disperse the money through these alphabet soup organizations in the government, and they're going to give the money to these people. I'm not stupid. We know that the White House is not sitting up there. Check the Guatemala. We know this. Don't play on our intelligence. As Judge Randy&April would say, don't lie to me. We already know. We got it. However, why are we sitting at $4 billion? I don't know. And why is there still... I try not to get... This is my emotional side. People always say, Randy, you're not emotional. And I'm like, I am. It just depends on what I'm passionate about. This is my passion. And the American people are getting screwed. I was going to use an expletive, but I caught myself. We're getting screwed. And people are sitting back like okay with this. They're like, oh, you know, we gotta help the people. We wouldn't have to help the people if we would just simply put the message, hey, unless you're coming here legally, unless you put in paperwork, don't come here. Unless we wouldn't have this problem. We wouldn't be spending $30 million a week on hotel stays for teenagers. We wouldn't be spending $30 million a week flying and busing non-U.S. citizens around the country so they can be processed into facilities. We wouldn't be spending money on kids getting sexually assaulted if we had these policies in place. Just saw that one of the congressmen there got a video of some kids getting sexually assaulted. I haven't watched it yet, but upon completion of this show, I will watch it and I will post it. So don't worry. You can always follow my Facebook page. You can even send me a friend request, but I got like 100 and some friend requests, and I'm like, who are you people? but anyways. Now, even with New York, I'm off of Roberta. Let me get rid of her. I'm off of Roberta now. I wish you best of luck in your future endeavors. But the border crisis in New York, even, it's bleeding over into New York. Let me say that. The border crisis is bleeding over into New York, and New York is like, I'm like baffled at this one. They're talking about doing cash payments of the amount of $15,600. Direct payment to undocumented people. If I was in New York, not only would I be standing in front of whatever alphabet agency in the governor's house, now his office, his house, and I'll be like, you out your mother flooding mind. Because, folks, $15,600 to a non-citizen, a non-resident of the state and of the United States at that. You're just going to give them, hey, here's some, here, take this, have a good life. No. That's more than we got in all three stimulus packages combined. No, hell to the no. No, nope, sorry. What are we doing? I tell you what, Democrats, 2024, sorry. Kids' school. Good evening, parents. This is such and such. We got a COVID case today. That's literally the phone call I get every day from the school. Anyway, sorry. Let me stay focused. But $15,600, that's more than all the stimulus payments that people have gotten. Unless you got like a huge family and that's what you filed in your taxes. And I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just baseline combined total average household. That is more than what you... Folks, 2022, I said 24 a minute ago, but that year too. But 2022, I will be very, very surprised if the Democrats will still have control of the House and Senate. If it is not a blowout majority for the Republicans, we are in serious trouble in the next for the next 4 years. 2022, 2024, and 26 even. We're in trouble because of the Senate. We're in trouble. Folks, wow. It's madness. It's sheer madness. Folks, we'll be right back.
You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com. You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
Hey, welcome back. So we kind of already heard about this story by now, but Miss Patrisse Cullors, co-founder of Black Lives Matter, is under some fire right now because story broke that she has, or her and her partner, I guess, purchased not only a $1.4 million home in right outside Los Angeles, California, but they bought 3 more homes to the amount of $3.4 million and did not donate, or I should say cut a check or help or contribute any of their money to any community, any of the black communities that asked for help as a result of the Summer of Love riots. And people say, well, so, that's their money, No, ladies and gentlemen. No, it's not their money. And I'm going to break it down to you for a second. First off, the cohorts here of BLM, Black Lives Matter, they are devout, self-admitted, trained Marxists that calls for the destabilization of the nuclear family, and they're calling against, making advocacy calls against capitalism and everything else. They took position to take in all this money, millions of dollars, ladies and gentlemen, millions of dollars, and they're using it for their self-pleasure. I am trying to figure out why there are people who are actually advocating for them, saying that this is okay. I'm confused. I'm really confused, because also, not only are they on a real estate buying spree, but most of their properties are being bought in all white neighborhoods. What? So let me be clear, ladies and gentlemen. Let me be clear. It's not that, because there's hundreds of thousands of nonprofit organizations in America alone. And yes, pretty much all of them have some kind of system to where they pay the owners, the founders, what have you, and some of the staff members. They have that system. They run it just like a regular business. I got it. However, you have not heard of any nonprofit organization that sat up and said, hey, or a nonprofit organization being exposed for not contributing or providing services back to whatever it is that they're doing, but instead buying their own set of houses and stuff. You haven't heard that. I'm sorry, you just haven't. So that is why there's contention about this. And there's, like I said, there's people that are like, so this third date, you can do that. Well, it's whatever, they deserve that. No. Not when you're sitting there advocating for the destruction of communities. You're literally calling for the destruction of communities, and for them to donate to you money and what have you, instead of you compiling and amassing this money and giving it back to these communities so they can rebuild and everything else because they sent their message. No, there's spray paint bought, there's street signs changed, all in the name of Black Lives Matter. And these communities are still devastated. There's businesses out of business permanently. There's black families and minority families and even white families, fine, in these communities that have been, their lives were upended because of your message. That is the problem. So for folks to say that they're okay with Black Lives Matter founders, and even the New York chapter is like, the president of the New York chapter, I didn't get the name, but he's like, hey, is this normal? Like, what are we doing here? So I hate to say it, folks, but there are people that look like us that will use you. They will emotionally abuse you, trick you into whatever it is that their agenda calls for, and you're going to tag along like a little lap dog. No questions asked. And I've been talking about this from day one. Day one. Everybody and their mama wanted to come after me. Like, oh, you don't support Black Lives, you're a coon and this, that. I don't know. It's not that I don't support Black Lives, in the general sense. I just don't support their asses. In the whole sense. That was the key difference. Now you see why. I knew what they were about when I first looked on the website. I was like, blacklivesmatter.org. Oh, hell no. Click. No. Just because an organization tacks on that, black in it, Black Panthers and Black New Era, Black Chicago. Just because you tack on black into your name does not mean that you're doing anything good for the black community. I'm sorry. It doesn't work that way. Not with me anyways. So anyways, folks. I'm sorry we have to go through this. I'm sorry that we have to... No, I'm being sincere. I'm not being funny. I'm not being facetious. I am sincerely sorry. And this is why my program is this. The new you. Now equipped with wisdom. You. Because I'm bringing you the real. I'm bringing you what the tools, the ammunition, the power, whatever you want to call it, to think and say, you know what, this is some bullshit. He's right. We need to fix this. This is screwed up. This is why I don't get into identity politics, ladies and gentlemen. Because we all see the same things. We may have some abstract point of view about it, but we all go through and see the same things, and this isn't right. Not by a long shot, not by a stretch. Now, I will be the first to say I apologize if these houses are for these families to come and live in because their communities got destroyed. I would say, bravo. Beautiful. Great job. But I doubt it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all the time I have with you today. Please, please, please. You can pick up my book, The New You Now Equipped with Wisdom. I don't know why people keep pinging me. They don't leave me alone. on Amazon. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, MeWe, Parler, all those platforms, Gab, at rperham, RPURHAM. If you want to contribute to my campaign for Congress, you can do so through our www.rperham4us.com, and also through Cashapp, $ capital R Perham 4us.com. For rperham 4us. And same thing with PayPal, rperham 4us. Folks, I know it was a mouthful. I'm out there. I'm getting to the point where I'm about to say, just Google me. But hey, thank you all for tuning in today. We appreciate it. Yeah, we'll see you all on Friday. Yeah, because today's Monday. Take it easy. God bless, and see you soon.
You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.